Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So chapter 6 is about development of enterprise application. This chapter will guide you on how to choose a proper template and provide you a guideline on how to develop an enterprise application. Actually, this chapter also is a conclusion for us from the beginning that we are learn on how to develop an application by using Java Bean, by using Servlet, JSP, HTML. So this chapter summarize everything and guide you how to make a proper Java enterprise application. So let's look at the outline of this chapter. So first of all, we want to look at the architecture and also the pattern. Second one, the design components, which are HTML and also JSP, where we already use and implement these two in our application development. And number 3 is develop the Java Beans and also the support. We also already learned it during our previous chapter. And last one, construct the JDBC connectivity with the enterprise application. So this one also we have touched it, where this activity is related to CRUD on processing the data in our application. Okay, so let's look at the introduction. So Java EE actually has become a standard platform whereby many developers use Java EE in developing their application. Why? Because it covers many things. It can include many components and objects, and also it provide to the developers many functions, and also stable, okay, and then can cover and develop a complex application. All right, so Java EE actually provides to you a component-based approach. It covers from the design phase, development phase, assembly phase, and also the deployment of enterprise application. Okay, so Java EE platform give you a multi-tiered distributed application. So one of the advantage of Java EE is a multi-tiered distributed application model. Okay, it has the ability to reuse the component. Okay, it's a unified security model. It has the security quite secure other than other platform, and then it also flexible when it deals with transaction that related to the database. Okay, and then by using Java EE also, it can deliver innovative customer solution, okay, to market faster than ever. Okay, and also Java EE is an independent platform. Okay, and then no need to tie to certain product or APIs or any vendors. Okay, it's independent, so you can choose any product or any APIs of any one vendors to develop your application. All right. So this slide shows you the multi-tiered Java application, whereby it consists of 3 main layers: client tier or client machine, Java 2 EE server machine, and database server machine. tier. Okay, so we already touched it in the previous chapter. Whereby the client tier will consist of dynamic HTML pages, which is the form that we need to create to get the input from the user. And then the second tier is consists of JSP pages and also enterprise bin, whereby this tier will process the input that inserted by the client tier. And last one, the database server machine, is the EIS tier that hold or store the database that inserted by the client and also the data that being used in the application. Okay, so why we need to choose the EE architecture or the pattern before we want to develop an application? So basically, we want to reduce the development time, reduce the complexity, and also to improve the application performance. So that's why we need to choose the best architecture and also the pattern. So Java provide to you this architecture and also several pattern that can be used as a guideline in the development process. Okay, so what is the Java EE architecture? So it consists of several number of layers. So basically there are three layers in common architecture, which are presentation, business, and also database layer. So for presentation layer, is responsible to present the interface and handling interaction with the end user. Meanwhile, the business layer is responsible to execute the business logic or to access or to receive the request from the user or to access the data from the database. Okay, and last one, the last layer, which is database layer, is responsible to store the business data. Okay, so this is an example of Java EE architecture, right? Where at the left side is for the client machine. In the middle is the application server that consists of JSP, the servlet, the Java bean that used to process the data inserted by the client or user. And at the right side is the EIS tier, whereby it stored the data that being used by the application. Okay, so another example of Java EE architecture. Okay, instead of three basic layers, it divided it into 5 layers. Okay, actually it's depend on the application on how many layers that we want to implement. Okay, so next. All right, so we move on to the design pattern. So what is design pattern? Actually, it's a template to solve a problem. Okay, and then the pattern actually is obtained by trial and error. And then actually is the best practice when we want to develop an application. We choose certain pattern to follow. And then it's a solution to general problem. Okay, mostly many companies, many developers has developed lots of application that use the same template, or in this case same pattern. Okay, when use the same pattern or template, it provides a solution which no need to be redeveloped or rebuild again. So we just implement or apply it, the template, and then we just add some new codes or new functions that related to our specific problem that need to be solved. So by using design pattern, the development process become faster because the pattern has already been tested and proven. Okay, and then the pattern also is a common language among developers or architects. Okay, so when you implement the pattern, and there is a problem, so we can communicate with other developers or refer to other architects on how to solve our problems that occurred during the development process. Okay. So the pattern actually is a general reusable solution. It can be reused as many times as you want, as long as it suits with our problems that we want to solve or our application that we want to develop. Okay, and then it is a description or template for how to solve a problem that can be used in many different situations. So as long as it's provide or it consists of the same problem to be solved, okay, we can use the pattern. All right. Okay, so object-oriented design pattern typically show relationships and interaction between classes or objects without specifying the final application classes or objects that are involved. So if we implement object-oriented design pattern, so we can reuse it as many times as we want because it only shows the relationship and interaction between classes or object. It doesn't focus on the methods of function that we want to solve. Okay. Alright, so this slide shows you the type of pattern that available in the market. For example, the pattern is divided into three groups: creational design pattern, structural design pattern, and also behavioral design pattern. Okay. So, Java EE patterns are built for the developing the enterprise web-based application. So basically, there are three main types of design pattern: presentation layer pattern, business layer design pattern, and also integration layer design pattern. Each of these layer consists of their own pattern. Okay. So this slide shows you two examples of pattern design. First one is singleton and the second one is template. Okay, if you implement singleton, it's only use one class instance, okay, and provide a global point of access to it. So any other object or methods can call the class or instance. So another one is template pattern. So this template pattern will define the skeleton of an algorithm in an operation, differing some steps to subclasses. So it provides an abstract declaration of variable and also methods. Then other methods or function that you want to add, so you can add later. Okay, so the template provide you the basic or abstract things or declaration for you to use, okay, without changing the algorithm structure. So this is the example of singleton declaration. So it consists of private static instance of class, private constructor, and also one public static method with return types of class. Okay, so this method is for other class or other method to access the singleton. Okay, right. So this is the code of singleton. Okay, the class name, the variable which is declared as static. Okay, the constructor, default constructor, and also one method which has static modifier, okay, and then can be accessed by static method only. Okay, so this one the template method, okay, it's provide an abstract function and also declaration of variable. So other classes such as wooden house and glass house can access to it and also can override the method and create another methods that suit with their own functionality. Okay. Okay, so this is the code on how to declare the template method or template pattern. Okay, one template method. Okay, and then abstract two abstract method which can be override by other class. Okay, so another pattern, it is called as MVC, which are model, view and controller. So this is the recent pattern that being used by the developers. Okay, and then each of these layer, okay, has their own functionality whereby the model will represent the business data and any business logic. Okay, it's related to the data. And how about the view? View is to view the data that, or to present the data, and then to process the data that being received in the model um, components. And last one is the controller. Is the controller of model and view. So it dispatches user requests and select views for presentation, which means it will control or process all the data and decide what kind of page or function that need to be used or called during the application being executed. Okay. All right. So this is the illustration of MVC. Okay. So the model will receive the request or query from the client, okay, and then being viewed or being processed by the controller and viewed by the view components. Okay. All right. So another example of model, view and controller, but this one shows you where does the user is located. Okay, then in this case, the user requests something from the application. Okay, the controller will deals this request and ask the model and view to act accordingly. Okay, based on their function, right? Okay, so you can look on the tutorial how to use or design the pattern in this website. Okay, and then actually there are many patterns that available in the market. Okay, such as MVC pattern, Facet pattern, prototype pattern, and many more. Right? Okay, so then we want to jump to the design, the web component process, which is in this case, we use HTML and also JSP. So I know everyone is good in creating the HTML pages and implement JSP to process the data received from the user. Okay, and then what else? Okay, there are several steps. Okay, in receiving the data from the user by using HTML and also JSP. So the first one, writing the web component code. So you need to write the code by using HTML and JSP. Okay, and then next one, packaging the web component along with the resources, the data such as images and videos. Then you install the web component into the web container. And last one, you access the web component by using the link. Okay. All right. So this is the another example of creating web components. Okay, step by step, starting with the web browsers that will provide a form to the user to submit a request. Okay, by creating a page. Okay, we do something here either by using HTML or JSP, and then the user will submit the request. Okay, this next process is the process event, either to insert the data, delete data or update the data. Okay, then next collect the data that being requested by the user. Last one, to display the data, okay, to the user by using the web browser. Okay, so another one is develop Java beans and also the servlet, which is the next tier or level in the developing an enterprise application. Okay, so Java bean and servlet is used to control or to process the requests inserted by the client or the user. Okay, basically the Java bean and also servlet lies in the middle tier. Okay, okay, and then servlet and Java bean will access the data from the database and process the data that been requested by the client and provide or display the data back to the client. Okay. Then another example of Java beans and servlet implementation. Okay, and then last one is to construct the JDBC connectivity with the enterprise application. So when we want to deal with data, we need to construct the connectivity. So in this case, by using JDBC. All right, so we already touched it in the previous chapters. Okay, so this slide shows you the steps on how to make the connection between the server, between the database and also our application and interface, right? So we need a JDBC driver in order for us to make the connection between the database and our application. So first of all, after you have do some setting in your development tools, okay, so you need to register the driver, then make the connection. Okay, there are some codings that you need to write, and then create the statement. Okay, based on the function that you want to implement, such as insert the data into database or delete the data from the database. Okay, then you execute the query, and last one, close the connection, right? So basically the application that you want to develop is complete. Okay, starting from choosing the pattern and deciding the architecture that you want to use. Okay, choose the or create the HTML JSP pages for the client to insert the data or do some requests, and then writing the Java bean, also the servlet, and last one to make the JDBC connection between the application and also the database. Right? So thank you.